Today we're going to build a vintage Stratocaster from a number of parts I've collected over the years. I'll show you guys some tips and secrets that I've learned from building guitars and also some setup stuff. So the most important part of the guitar to me is the neck. That's what you're going to be playing on the whole night. And this is something really special. This is a 1961 Stratocaster neck. You can see the partial date here written at the end. It has a Brazilian rosewood slab board fretboard as well as the clay dots. However, something doesn't look quite right about this neck, and that's the decal. It appears to be one from around 1964 to 1965, and that's because this neck was sent back to the Fender factory around that time period, and it was refinished and re-decaled, and we have evidence of that here at the end. We have a Fender stamp, which correlates to the original neck plate that I have here, and that's a pretty clear sign that Fender did this factory work as maybe some kind of warranty, or maybe someone had a connection to get their guitar refinished in a custom color perhaps. But if you can find a guitar that's been refinished like this, you can find them for a pretty heavy discount, but they still have all the great details that we love about vintage guitars, like the oranged lacquer and really nice checking here, and of course all the play wear on the back of the neck, which makes it feel like glass. But really nice neck. As far as the body goes, this is something cool I found on Reverb a while back for probably like a couple $100. If you look out, you can find cool stuff like this. I'm not sure what this came from. I'm guessing based on the contours inside, maybe like a 1980s Japanese reissue of some kind, but it has lacquer checking and play wear, if you look at the finish here, as good as any vintage Fender that I have seen. So for the money, this is something that is old and feels and looks old, but you can't beat the price of that as compared to like an original Fender body. Now for the electronics, we have a loaded pickguard here from my friends at Mojo Tone, and this is something they just came out with. These pickups are re-engineered from a 1962 Stratocaster using the same type of materials and build quality. They're calling it the Crandallcaster pickups as a tribute to the original owner of that guitar. And we've got cloth covered wiring, nice CTS 250K pots, a 5-way switch, which I've got to have. And this is something that is just plug and play into your guitar. It's even got a quick connect here, so no soldering needed if you want. As far as the hardware goes, we've got, for the bridge, I've modified this a little bit. So I used to have this original tremolo block in the bridge, but I'm now using these aluminum bridge blocks because I don't want to break off a tremolo arm in one of these original blocks. And also the aluminum blocks are lighter weight. And for me, I actually like the way that they feel and play on the guitar with, you know, the tremolo arm and doing a lot of bending and stuff like that. So you might check these out. For this tremolo arm, I've got a Callahan stainless steel arm, and these things are tough to break. So if you're heavy on them, these things are really nice to use live. A set of Ernie Ball 10 to 52 strings, which I've been really enjoying lately. But other than that, let's throw this guitar together and see how it sounds. 4 screws on the back of the neck plate here. Let's get this bridge installed. 6 screws here. Now for the springs, I've used 3, I've used 4 or 5. It just depends on how you want to set your guitar up, how you want it to feel. I think in this case we'll use 4 and see how it sounds and plays. Then for the claw, you really got to do this by feel, but typically I end up backing this down probably around here. Again, once the strings are on, we'll see how it feels and go from there. You have your output jack. These wires are going to feed through a hole inside of here. We should be able to take both these ground wires here, twist them together, which you would normally solder to the volume pot here, and we can use this quick connect. Then your wire here from the output jack to this quick connect. These holes aren't really lining up, probably because this is some kind of foreign body, but we can make it work. Okay, one trick before you screw down your pickguard and totally restring it to find out that the electronics are not working, you can plug in your guitar cable to your amp, turn the amp on, turn the volume up, see if you hear any grounding type issues. This one seems to have just a slight buzz to it, which is good for a single coil pickup. Then you can take a screwdriver and tap each pickup here. So in the fourth position, that would be the neck and the middle. And we have volume there. Now that's just the middle. Now we have middle and bridge. And then we have just the bridge and not the others. So everything is wired up properly. Now we're ready to put strings on. Usually cut the strings to the next two posts. Cut it there, straight down, like so. It's going to give you a few wraps. So for the action height on a guitar like this, we have to think about the type of frets we're using, which in this case, these are a vintage style fret that have some playwear to them. So if I can get this action a little lower, it'd play better for me. If I had a jumbo fret, I might be able to go higher. Taking a look here with this gauge, it's a little over 1/8 of an inch here on the low E side, closing in on 1/4 of an inch, which is too high. The high E is a little over 1/8 of an inch, so I'm going to lower both of these down a little bit, and then you want to make sure that your saddles are following the radius of your guitar, so whatever that is, it's going to be specific to your instrument. On this one, it's 7 1/4 radius. And I'm just going to eyeball this. That's kind of how I've done it over the years, but you can get a radius gauge and check that. So let's lower this down to where I think it'll be best. I like to have a little bit of relief in the neck. This neck is been set up the way it should be for a long time now, so I'm not going to mess with it, but I like to have just a little bit of relief here that it's going to give you some help bending strings and stuff, but we're not going to mess with it on this neck. Okay, the intonation is fairly close. This is something that you can dial in over time. Once you have everything tuned up, you might take each string and really work it over, and then retune it. The height of the pickups, that's something that's totally individual, how you want to do it. I mean, the real way to do it is to play each pickup and listen to it and make adjustments and hear how it sounds. One thing that I've kind of started out with is just raising the low E side a little bit higher than the high E side. I think Strats already have enough high end to them, so you might start somewhere like that and then, you know, just play it and listen with your ear and see what sounds best. But I think this guitar is ready to go, so let's plug it in and see how it sounds.